Right, let's continue to give you reaction from opposition parties. I'm joined by Mr. Pieter Groenewald from the FF Plus. Talk to us about what you make of the proceedings this afternoon.
Well, firstly, it's no surprise to the Freedom Front Plus. We predicted that the ANCs will misuse their majority to vote against this report, but there must be no misunderstanding. There is an act of dishonour from the side of the ANC towards Parliament and towards the Constitution and democracy in South Africa. This is not an ordinary bill that some parties may approve or disapprove or anything. This was a matter about the President who must account to Parliament. And I say again, he himself said he did nothing wrong, he didn't break any law. So that's why I also said there are quite simple, common sense questions asked by the people which he can answer to. Now, I think this was also part of a strategy, specifically the application from the President to the Constitutional Court. It was not on an urgent basis, and I think he waited for seeing what is happening today, and I will not be surprised if he now withdraw his application from the Constitutional Court. This is not the end of the road. We must remember that there are still other investigations. We're still waiting for the report from the Hawks, from the Public Protector, as well as the Reserve Bank. So if we get those reports, and depending on what is coming out of those reports, we can start this process again. But we can also take other steps, for instance, taking him into court or whatever the case may be.
Would you consider that? We know that the EFF, for example, is taking the Speaker for not adopting the secret ballot.
No, we differ on that one. As far as we're concerned, the Constitution is quite clear, and I don't want to go into the technicalities. We will not support him in that court case. But I say if all those other reports come forward, and based on those facts, if it's necessary, we will consider going to court. But I also believe then you will get also civil society organizations and everybody. The fact of the matter is the President missed another golden opportunity to take the people of South Africa in his confidence, giving the, as I said, quite logic answers to the people, common sense questions that they ask. For instance, did you follow the procedures? Did you pay VAT on all those things? It's as simple as that. So we will have to wait to see what is the end.
All right, thank you so much. I see Mr. Swart. Thank you, Mr. Groenewald, the FF Plus. I'm going to bring in the ACDP. Your reaction?
Yes, well, we are disappointed, although I suppose it was largely to be expected given the pressure that was put on ANC members of Parliament, and so that's why we as the ACDP were one of the parties that asked for a secret ballot. We want to commend those members of the ANC who actually stood up, the 5 or 6 of them who actually supported this report. And bear in mind, this is the beginning of a process. So what Parliament agreed to, firstly the rules and the process, secondly the motion when it was tabled was agreed to by everyone in Parliament, and then it was referred to the independent panel, which was appointed by Parliament, and then the panel came back and said there is a case to answer. So the next logical step is for the impeachment hearings to continue. Now, had the President, he continually says he has done nothing wrong, he'd have the opportunity then to come and present his case and, of course, answer the questions which the public is asking. What was that money doing there? Where did it come from? Was it legitimate? He says he did nothing wrong. And, of course, this is disappointing that it was stopped at this early stage in the process. I think as well that the President now launching this Constitutional Court application, I really trust that Parliament should be defending our own report. But now it is a setback today, but it's not the end of the road.
It's not the end of the road. What are you foreseeing for the future? We know other parties want to head to court. What is the ACDP going to do?
Well, we'll definitely be considering our options. The opposition parties are obviously working together and talking to one another. I think it is regrettable, given the threats that were made to members of Parliament. We even heard today of death threats. Our letter to the Speaker, sent last Friday, and another one sent Sunday night, emphasized that there is a toxic environment, that it was highly toxic and highly pressurized, as referred to in the Constitutional Court decisions which said that when there is such an environment, then the Speaker should seriously consider giving a secret ballot. So we think there was more than enough reasons for a secret ballot. However, that can be contested, and then of course the process going forward. Whether the President will succeed with his Constitutional Court challenge, I doubt it, because it is still in early stages of the process. It's in the middle of a process. He might decide not to do anything. And of course, there are the other investigations. The SARS I hope the SARS are investigating. They should be investigating. The Reserve Bank, the Hawks, the Public Protector, all these investigations that are ongoing. And should they come out again, there's nothing to prevent us relaunching this whole process. So it is early stages in the game, but I think it was done very strategically by the ANC with the conference coming up this week. But it was very interesting, and I would have been interested to see, had it been a secret ballot, how many more ANC members would have voted in favor of this report, because that was the right thing to do under the circumstances, given that this is the beginning of a process.
Right. Thank you so much. Really appreciate Mr. Steve Swart from the ACDP and the FF Plus, Mr. Pieter Groenewald, relying on the other investigations that are unfolding, the Hawks, the South African Reserve Bank and the Public Protector's report. They're relying on those processes to unfold, saying this is far from over. But you have the EFF and the ATM, for example, saying they're heading to court on various accounts. The EFF, for example, saying they want to take the issue of the Speaker adopting not to accept a secret ballot voting procedure on judicial review.